National Conference on Russian Jewry.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I had a very important job there. I worked there for a couple of years. There was a ledger in which was written the names of all of the Refuseniks in Russia. It was at that time, if you remember, but you're too young, I think, to remember. There were a whole group of people who were called Refuseniks, Jewish men and women. And if nobody was taking care of them, many of them were sent to Siberia. Some of them were put into mental institutions to get them out of the way. They wanted to leave Russia, and the government wouldn't permit them to leave. And they weren't permitted to read the Bible. They weren't permitted to speak Hebrew or Yiddish. They weren't permitted to have seders or to do anything. I had a friend who lived in St. Petersburg. It was Stalingrad at the time. And on Simchat Torah, they had dances in front of the shul. They weren't permitted to go to shul. So the Jewish boys and girls used to gather over there in front of the shul and dance. And she wanted to go, and her parents said, "Don't go, it's too dangerous. They'll put you in jail." She says, "But I'm going." And she went. She used to go to dance on Simchat Torah. Anyway, this ledger had the names of all the Refuseniks and the names of senators, which nobody knew at the time. I had no idea that the senators were watching over these Refuseniks. I had their names and telephone numbers, and they were obligated. Each senator had the name of a Refusenik, and each one was obligated to write to the Refusenik, because if the Russian government knew that somebody was in touch with these people, they left them alone. So I had to make sure that they were doing what they were supposed to do. And if I didn't have a date listed for when they had written, I had to call them and remind them that they owed this Refusenik a letter. That was my job.
How did you become involved with this organization?
I just volunteered. I knew it was an important thing to do, and I went up there and I volunteered.
Did you feel a special connection because your relatives came from
No.
Eastern Europe?
I felt a special connection because these people were Jews.